The year is 1776, and American colonists are getting ready to fight. It had been over 2 years since Boston was blockaded by the British, and about a year since Patrick Henry gave the colonies their motto of liberty or death. It is on this July 4th, 1776, that a bunch of ragtag politicians from different walks of life would sign the Declaration of Independence, not fully understanding the impact their decisions would have on history. These men would forever change mankind with the words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." To fully grasp the effects of the Revolutionary War and the Declaration of Independence, we have to understand that a lot of tensions had built up to the point to where the 13 colonies actually broke away from British rule. There are multiple reasons for the decision, but most of them are beyond the scope of this video, so I will only be focusing on one of the most important ones. Now, 1776 was at the tail end of the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment was a time period where specific philosophies and ideas were being discussed, particularly the idea of individual liberty. Individual liberty is what Jefferson was referring to when he said that all men are created equal and that they have certain unalienable rights. In fact, that's why most of the original colonists even came to America in the first place, so that they could practice religion outside of the Church of England. Following the Revolutionary War, it took 2 years for America to be recognized as a nation by the British. It took another 6 years for the colonies to figure out what they were doing before James Madison's Constitution was written into law. Lastly, George Washington became president by unanimous decision in 1789. And finally, the United States of America was made a democratic republic. I would like to start off this section by saying that colonial America was, to a certain degree, a modern-day experiment that worked. No nation had the systems or core beliefs that America had started with. Let's take the Romans, for example. Rome was a republic like us with a senate, but there was still a belief that all men were not the same. The Caesars were believed to have a divine connection, and the poor would stay poor throughout their lifetime from generation to generation, similar to a caste system. I understand that just because America had the words "all men created equal," that didn't mean that that was immediately the case. Undoubtedly, it took time for the beliefs of early America to give way to the pure ways of freedom. Multiple revolutions began throughout the world after people realized that the fight for freedom and individual liberty was worth it. The most prominent wars were the French Revolution and the Haitian Revolution. The French Revolution began in 1789 with, among other things, the storming of a fortress called the Bastille. The Revolution of France ended in 1799. While the French people did want a democracy to govern them, multiple times men took advantage of the weak country and made themselves emperors. The idea of freedom within the continental United States did have a big problem. Slavery was a common practice regardless of which part of the US you were in. However, freedom from slavery was an idea that the Haitians loved. The population of Haiti was 90% slaves. You see, Spain had enslaved many Africans and brought them to modern-day Haiti for the purpose of working on farms and plantations. Eventually, France took over those farms. In 1791, the Haitian Revolution began with a fight against French rule and slavery. After 13 years of fighting, the people of Haiti were finally free from slavery. Unfortunately, it took almost a century for America to free their slaves. A number of the Founding Fathers knew that slavery was bad and faced their own inner turmoil about it. They fell short of acting upon it, but it would have been unlikely that the colonists would have let the government free their slaves anyway. USC Dornsife College professor Nathan Pearl Rosenthal wrote a book called The Age of Revolutions and the Generations That Made It. It talked about how the generations that followed George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were used to revolutions. In an article, he said, quote, "It was only after 1800 when a second generation came of age, conditioned to a different set of social norms, that one really starts to see enduring mass political movements taking shape across lines of class and race." Thank you so much for staying until the end of this video. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to be coming out with similar content over the next few weeks and months, so make sure you're subscribed so that you will be notified when any of these videos do come out. And lastly, I just wanted to touch on the freedom of speech in the United Kingdom. It's amazing what's going on over there. The UK politicians are pushing for freedom of speech laws, and that's just awesome to see that almost 250 years later, the Declaration of Independence is still at work. So thank you again, and until we ride next time.